and particles that behave like waves. Welcome to Challenge Beach. Final visit.
I'm actually really keen to check this out. I never really came back here in like any of my playthroughs.
It's definitely worth doing.
I always like the idea of it, and like I came back a couple of times, and I just kept on not being able to do anything at all. I was just really terrible at it, and I was like, no.
You guys can come out now.
I'll come back later. I never came back.
Okay, so for you astute viewers in the audience, I apologize. I'm a little bit of a mess at the moment. You can see that this video is about 32 minutes long, and most of that is going to be this fight. We have a lot of waves to get through, and it's going to be a varied bunch with ramping difficulty. So things are going to get interesting.
Oh boy. There's one thing I like, it's very long, tedious fights.
All right.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I would call this tedious. It is certainly long, but the ever-shifting nature of your loadout tends to make this a pretty engaging fight, at least for me.
That's good. Yeah, I really do like about this, like these kind of fights, the way that like as it goes on, it keeps on giving you more options, so you like have to decide whether or not you want to stick with what you've got or like completely change it and try and find a new style.
Or if you're like me, just do your best to build towards some optimal loadout.
That works too.
So, fortunately, this series of fights, rather, starts us kind of slow, even though it gives us the full range of enemies from the start. Everybody is in their either 1.0 or 2.0 versions, so we're not contending with the worst that they have to give right out of the bat, right out of the gate. I am sort of prioritizing having more functions than having more powerful functions. I mean, I have a double sidearm right now, but that's just because single sidearm is not hyper useful. And at least for the way that I play, I always prefer to have bomb on passive than on active, just because having it instantly come out sometimes versus having to stop for several seconds to bring it out is not a contest for me.
Be very useful. I'm not going to think of a whole lot of situations actually that would be fantastic.
Especially in situations where idiot haunters just decide to stand next to my bombs for extended periods.
It's very kind of them.
Okay, what's this shiny thing? Oh no!
Oh dear. I feel like we might be entering the trouble zone.
This one is actually a pretty interesting wave, simply because it's constantly spawning in bad cells. And if you don't stay on top of them, their numbers will get really big really fast, and you know, on their own they're not a big deal, but in herds they are more dangerous than probably any other, just because of their speed and the fact that their shots slow you down if you're not equipped right. They will ruin you in large enough numbers.
Whenever when I first started playing with limiters, I turned on one of the ones that like gives you a bunch of bad cells, and I very quickly turned it off again because it was wrecking me.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of a tendency to like just kind of like pick one and then chase it down and then go like, oh, this is like, where did all of these guys come from? What are you doing here? Jaunt is like one of my favorite ones, just because I love having really good movement. It's like a little bit of a craving of mine is that if anything can give me really like good, tight, interesting movement, then I'll be absolutely all over it. So like Jaunt always offers a whole bunch of just really unique options that like you can't really get just by running away from stuff. Just kind of keeps you a little bit ahead of the pack.
Yeah, I definitely understand the love of movements. Games, just in general, that offer movement abilities like what's it? Like Infamous or Prototype, where sort of the movement and your gaining of movement abilities is one of the key draws of the game. I am in love with that kind of game.
So good.
The flushers continue to be the biggest problem, and the biggest single-digit problem, I guess. My word about bad cells still stands, but these guys will, in single digits, they are the greatest problem. I managed to get by the skin of my teeth there. I have to completely change gears now. But now I'm feeling a little bit sassy because I have acquired 3 parts of my ultimate loadout here.
The 3 pieces of Exodia, if you will. You just have to get the last one, and you're all good.
Oh. Unfortunately, Exodia has about 12 pieces in my case.
It's fine.
Something that continues to surprise me whenever the occasion to use it presents itself is just how much damage tap does.
Yeah.
Like, it has a huge radius and it comes out so fast. It doesn't feel like it should be dealing as much damage as it does, but it's big.
Yeah, I was always like really confused by that one because like I never really used it in like my first playthrough, and then like once I started replaying stuff, I kind of like went back and started playing with everything and trying to see what it did, and that one just kind of came out of nowhere. Jeez.
Yeah, for sure. See, I even did a little bit of upgrading to make heal have a bigger radius and do more damage, just because I am right now very impressed with it. I am considering it my primary damage dealer going forward.
It's like it's giving him a little bit of a nasty tap there.
I'm gonna have to ask you not to do that again. There's a bit of a situation up near the top of the screen that I like to call a circle jerk, where we have the guy who heals and the guy who gives shields staring at each other. It's like, oh no, we're not actually contributing anything to this fight, but you're not gonna get rid of us.
Like, it's just kind of like the way that they just move around on their own. Like, you can never really tell what's going to like synergize with each other, and sometimes it's just really rude. Oh, one time I got like trapped by a bunch of clockers, and I had no recourse. It was horrible. I lost half my attacks.
Trapped how?
It was on there was one level where there was like they kept on deactivating my turn, and then like there was a bunch of the little like pillar things that come up and like stop you from moving, and so I kept on like getting knocked back into it. It was a bizarre scenario. I think I just restarted it and then like kind of cheesed my way through it somehow. I do that from time to time.
When the game gives you tools, you should use its tools.
Exactly. If it wasn't intended, why did you make me really good?
If you didn't intend for me to do 2,000 damage in one hit, why did you give me the ability to?
Exactly. I think you are the fools, Mr. Game Dev.
I don't know if you've ever... Oh, were you going to say something?
You are really crunching through them at the moment. It's very impressive.
Bailey Gillen worked admin up in high rise.
Trying to think about if hook plus orb is a worthwhile thing.
I mean, why would you not combine orb? You should probably put orb on as many as you can.
I think that...
Have you ever crashed an orb?
Like, are we still talking in game terms, or are we like talking in meat space now? Because one of those I can answer yes to.
Oh dear. I don't know if I want to. I feel like it'll be a little bit lewd.
This is definitely a PG Let's Play series.
One time I got an orb, it was a mistake.
Orbs are only ever a mistake if you are not properly prepared for them.
This is true. Far out of the range of my power level.
I will send you the illegal guide to orbs after this, so that you may properly acquaint yourself.
Crave it. I crave an orb. I'll look my friends in the eye, because they are all purveyors of mighty orb powers, and I am the one that is left in the dust.
We will have to fix that. I am not okay with my good friends being orb deficit.
It's nice to know that there is still some honor in the world.
There was something I was going to say, and I've completely forgotten what it was.
Yeah. Sorry, I made you board the orb train, and now there's no going back.
We are all trapped on a mighty sphere now, rocketing towards the sun. Oh, yes. I've remembered now. I am actually trying very hard not to assemble Exodia in this fight.
Oh no. Why?
Because I am very explicitly going to do that in a later video.
Oh no.
And I am going to show you all exactly how powerful you can be. And I don't want to open that box too early.
You can't give away the secret. It's a crime.
You know, sometimes I think that I really should just fast forward to these, but then we just had like a 5-minute conversation about orbs, and I wouldn't want to deprive anybody of that.
I know, it would.
I mean, really.
It would ruin the whole mood of the thing, I think. What if there are other people out there like me who have been denied orbs for too long? I think we need to spread the power. We need to let them feel the love a little bit.
We'll make do.
Feel the love of a true orb.
Experience the love that an orb can show you.
Have you
and the love that you can show an orb.
Have you ever truly embraced an orb?
I have held many orbs in my hands. I don't think I've ever embraced one, though. I don't think I've ever found an orb large enough to properly embrace.
See, there's still hope for the future. You've still got goals, orb goals.
Knuckle tats, orb goals. Yes, that pause there was me literally counting my knuckles.
I can't believe they won't let me into clubs because I have orb life tattooed on my fists.
It's because you spelled it with a Y, man.
I mean, it's not my fault that I've got weird Australian spellings. Don't sass me for that. It's the language of my people.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Truly and deeply.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm used to this. People discriminate against my orbs, but it's fine because I've never had one.
They're not discriminating against your orbs. They're discriminating against your life.
Well, I mean, in my mind, they're one and the same.
Few more rounds.
You weren't kidding when you said that they really kind of went hog wild in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's the last one. Do 16 fights of increasing difficulty.
This is like that's kind of why I never really went too much into these, because I did the early ones and they were fine, and then they just kind of kept on getting bigger and longer, and I was like, I enjoy this, but not that much. Although it would give you like a really good understanding of the way that all the thingies work.
Yeah, it definitely does, especially the planning tests.
Yeah.
I've said it before, but absolutely do those because they will teach you about function interactions that you might not normally think of.
Yeah, because I, like, in my last run through especially, I was, like, really just kind of looking around to see if there was any new, like, combinations that were just, like, really insane. And some of the combinations that I came across were just like, how is this even legal? I feel like I'm breaking the law. Doing too many damage.
I found a very interesting combination just completely by accident.
Oh?
If you combine Tracker, the poison dart purge, with Hide, when it hits a guy, not only does it poison them, but it removes them from reality for several seconds.
Oh dear. That sounds like it would create havoc on the battlefield.
Oh no, it pacifies the battlefield. Quite the opposite.
Oh.
When guys are just gone for several seconds, I mean, they don't move because they're confused. It's like, wait, I only kind of exist now. What does this mean?
What happened to my existence?
And then they don't move, they don't attack. They do continue to take damage because they are poisoned, but they're gone for a little while.
Oh.
It's cool.
That is hella neat, actually. I'm gonna. Gosh, I was planning on playing new video games later, but I think I might actually have to go back and play this one again. My life is a hell of unfinished video games, and then ones that I've played far too many times.
So I guess a little bit of trivia about these tests in general that is never quite made clear. They are actually level locked.
Oh.
Rather than story locked.
Oh, is that why? Sometimes when I went back, I could, like, play a bunch of them, and then sometimes there were just none?
Yeah, the, all of the, agency tests and a couple of the others, I think maybe one of each, are keyed to you being on New Game Plus. But as for the rest of them, they are all just, they check your level. And so if you can basically just wait until, if you are so inclined, you can wait until the last door of the game and just bang out a ton of them at once.
That's always respectable. That really is just tearing them up, actually.
Yeah, that is one of the major pieces of Exodia, as we've decided to name it, is Might plus Purge plus Slam. Is that just makes everything do an incredible amount of damage, and then discovering how powerful Tap is, it's making things even better. Plus, like, because I'm doing so much damage and Tap heals you based on a percentage of the damage that you do, and I think it does take into account overkill, I'm just constantly healing for huge amounts of health.
Yeah, that's like especially I would imagine when you get like this late in and like everything does so much damage, like you kind of do have to get a little bit of health going back. In my somewhat limited experience, whenever I kind of lost a little bit too much health, I was just kind of like, let's restart and give that another go.
Yeah, we learned a good deal about orbs. Anyway, that was the last of the endurance tests. And as soon as I get my butt in gear here, it is time for the last of the agency tests.
Good luck.
Come close.
Have you done many of these? I mean, there's only 3, but have you done many of them?
I don't think so.
Defend your title.
I think I might have done like the endurance ones, and then whatever the one was that was on the left. I think like a speed one or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Do it in X amount of seconds.
yeah. I did a couple of those ones because they were fun. Got to kind of cheese a little bit. As is my secret shame.
Yeah, those are interesting because you can either choose to spend the entire time running, or you can spend the entire time fighting and get experience.
Yeah. Are you gonna be doing any of those this video or?
No, those are all done. It was that last one and then this one, and that's all there is.
Oh. So I'm getting the big guns.
Yep. So, I am double checking exactly what some things do. It's funny, in the process of this Let's Play, I have discovered the utility of this screen right here. I never really used it when I was just playing for myself, but since I've been endeavoring to learn more about all the function interactions for the sake of this Let's Play, that screen has become really useful, just figuring out exactly what does what to what.
Oh yeah, I'd imagine.
Here comes the copycat.
So,
Yeah.
round 3 against Deep Red, I guess you could call her.
I will admit, kind of one of my favorite things when I was using. Oh dear, that was a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do when I was using Ton was to just like make it so that I had a tiny little bit like of sliver left of movement at the end of it, and then just use like a huge attack. I was like, ha, take that.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
I'm not a part of your system.
So, Deep Red here has, in her final form now, has 2,000 HP for every life, which I think is more than anything else in the entire game. She has, I think, access to 2 instances of every single function. And while I can't say this for certain, I should probably check the code on this. I think her loadout might be randomized, so you would get a different fight every time.
Oh.
Unfortunately, it's really difficult to check that without screwing around with the code even more, because I'm sure some people have noticed by now that in the main run, I'm working with all 32 bits of memory and all the functions, but I'm considerably more limited here, and that is because you can't actually repeat any of these challenges. Once they're done for that save file, just for good. Like even on New Game Plus, they don't come back.
That kinda sucks.
So I am on a different run here because the run that I am recording the main run for is actually my main file that has everything unlocked, and this file right here is the one that the original run comes from. So I am not at max level. I do not have everything up and running yet here.
And it's I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense that, like, they don't let you just, like, go back and mess around with them, but, like, it would be nice, like, at least on New Game Plus, just because, like, stuff like this is a little bit more interesting than regular fights. Like, if they get, like, a really good loadout and you've kind of got to deal with that, like, it's more fun than just, like, another wave of enemies.
Definitely, yeah. And so that was the last challenge.
Doors are all shut. What do you want to do now, Red?
That's your reward. Some fireworks and a sign saying,
You know it's a little
yeah,
sparse,
you did it.
Yeah.
This isn't that bad. It's no cloud bank, though.
And the sound test is fully unlocked, but hey, if you want that, just buy the soundtrack. You don't have to load up Steam every time you want to listen to it.
But then you wouldn't get to play with the puppy.
I'm sure I'll be